Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. Let me show you how the defense in the Luigi Mangione case can win this case. It's all about raising reasonable doubt. Next, things didn't go well for the BryanKohberger defense team the other day, but hey, that's just my opinion. What is wrong with the principal throwing parties for students and getting them drunk? I guess we'll find out. We have a bad cop that got busted. Not good. Don't threaten the president. No president should be threatened. I know people will do it, but don't do it. You're going to get yourself arrested, or at least a visit from the FBI. We have This Day in Legal History and our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it.
All right, lawyer.
Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment below, and hit that little bell for notifications. And yes, you can check us out on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Now, please go to crimetalksearch.com. Sign up for that background subscription service today, which you can cancel at any time. But while you have that subscription, you can do as many background searches on any individual here in the United States as your heart desires. You could do it on, defendants on the high-profile cases that we talk about, all the witnesses. That's right. It's all public information, ladies and gentlemen. It is there for the true crime talk aficionado. Go to crimetalksearch.com. You're going to be happy that you did. All right, let's go ahead and open the record for Monday, January 27th, 2025. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you joined us several weeks ago on a live program, we talked about how Luigi Mangione has to win this case, okay? He's got a tough road. He's got a tough road ahead of him, but why are we going to let the facts get in the way of a good defense? That's what I always say. All right? It comes down to identification. Remember, in any criminal case, the prosecution must prove that it is, in fact, Luigi Mangione that committed the crime, not someone that looked like him, not someone using his identity, but it was, in fact, him. And when we had that live program, I told you about a case. It was a homicide case back in Denver some 30 years ago, where 4 bank guards were killed by an allegedly retired police officer and ran off with the money. Anyway, that retired police officer was arrested. He has since passed away, and he passed away. But he was found not guilty at trial. And why did they do that? They did it based upon identification. Now, can you imagine how good the technology could be in this particular case in 2025? This case goes back years. And just so you're clear, it's a book called Murder in the Bank Vault. It's written by Walter Garash, who has since passed away. He was the lead attorney. He was an absolute legend. He was an absolute legend here in Denver, is probably one of the greatest defense attorneys ever. So what did he do? Well, they had a general description of the man that came into the bank. That he had a fedora hat on and eyeglasses and a mustache. And I'll just show this, and Frank will probably put a better picture of it up. But look, those are the people in the disguise. This was 30 years ago, right? And then you see that the people in the book, Lee Iacocca, Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, Jack Nicholson, under the disguise. Well, I have found the perfect person for that disguise, to put him in the picture to show that it could have been anybody. And look at this individual. That's right, actor Dave Franco. Look at this guy. Does he not look like Luigi Mangione or what? He's apparently even getting asked about it, and apparently people have inquired whether, when the Luigi Mangione movie comes about, whether he will be a part of it. Apparently there's nothing official, but look at him side by side. Could that be him? Put a mask on him? Yeah, pull that mask away. It's Mr. Franco, not Luigi. Reasonable doubt, ladies and gentlemen. Reasonable doubt. Mark my words, they're going to go ID. Next on the docket, BryanKohberger. I don't know about you, but if you watch those hearings, I don't think the defense was winning. And don't get me wrong, I'm a criminal defense attorney. I've been doing this for 30 years. but I also know when the judge ain't buying what you're selling. Okay? Do I think that BryanKohberger is going to win any of these motions? I do not. Remember, what is the defense position at this point? It's a death penalty case. They're trying to take the death penalty off the table, and let's talk about that. So the defense team for BryanKohberger, obviously accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students back in November of 2022, filed a plethora of motions to suppress evidence that they argued was improperly obtained by law enforcement. Now, in these court filings, Kohberger's attorneys sought to exclude various pieces of evidence, including DNA samples, digital records from Amazon, Google, Apple, and AT&T. And these are apparently things as well as in addition to things that were found at his apartment there in Pullman, Washington. They also were trying to exclude evidence related to the white Hyundai Elantra he allegedly drove on the night of the murders. Now, the defense claims that the law enforcement violated Kohberger's constitutional right when they were collecting the evidence, hence the motion to suppress. A motion to suppress is saying, Judge, don't allow in this evidence because it was obtained illegally in violation of one's Fourth Amendment rights. So the defense argues that the DNA evidence gathered during the investigation violated BryanKohberger's privacy rights. They also claim that the data from his phone, including records from Amazon, Google, and Apple accounts, were obtained without proper legal procedure. And Mr. Kohberger requested in their motions that they suppress all the evidence obtained by police via the subpoenas and warrants that permitted them to search his Amazon account. Now, the warrant was, according to the defense, required to search his account, and that the warrants used lacked probable cause as written, given their reliance on conclusions reached by law enforcement without the necessary details for the magistrate to draw independent conclusions of the probable cause. Now, the warrants also admitted exculpatory information and relied upon evidence gained in violation of the Constitution, is what the defense has argued. Remember, when a police officer goes to a magistrate or a judge to ask for a warrant to seek these records, you have to establish probable cause that the items were first relevant to the crime. A reasonable person would believe that the defendant may have committed that crime, and that there's this link to the crime and that person, and that they're going to find the information that they're looking for. They can't go on a general warrant saying, give me everything, we'll sort it out later. They have to have some specificity as to what they know. Courts are getting a little tighter on this, but not as of yet. Anyway, the defense has also raised the issue that there was a violation because there was exculpatory evidence that wasn't included, and that if you put in that exculpatory information, the probable cause doesn't exist, and therefore the warrant shouldn't have issued, and therefore the evidence was obtained illegally, and then the evidence should not come in against BryanKohberger. Now, do I think that this judge has the chutzpah to do that? They're going to give great deference to the police officers in this particular situation. It would only be at the appellate level where I believe that the defense in this particular case would actually get some relief. Anyway, the defense team also challenges the search warrant of Mr. Kohberger's apartment, arguing that the warrant was based upon misleading information and omitted key information that would have helped prove him innocent. Now, obviously, BryanKohberger was a student at the Washington State University, and he's been charged in regards to the murder of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Zaina Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Now, the 4 students were obviously found stabbed to death at their house there in Moscow, Idaho, back on November 13th of 2022. Obviously, Kohberger's been arrested after DNA and other evidence linked him to the alleged crime scene. And Kohberger's trial is scheduled to begin on August 25th after he waived his right to a speedy trial back in August of 2023. Now, the defense is still saying that that's not enough time to prepare. We'll have to wait and see. The other issue that came out at the motions hearing was that the defense is trying to say that the prosecution has violated their rights to turn over information in the case related to BryanKohberger, and therefore that's putting them in as a disadvantage. Where have we heard that before? Where has it worked? That's right, the trial of Lori Vallow. Remember, the death penalty was taken off the table for Lori Vallow because of violation of her rights by not producing the discovery in a timely manner. Is the defense in the BryanKohberger case trying to do that? Probably. Now, sometimes a motions hearing is the best thing for a defendant to see, to be at and participate in. You get a feel for your judge, right? The only thing that would have been better in this particular case if they had a preliminary hearing early on. It's a little preview of what's to come, lays everything out for the defendant, and they get to see this is the actual case against me. Sometimes it's not really reality when it's just on paper. I know it sounds weird. Trust me on this, ladies and gentlemen. I've oftentimes told prosecutors, hey, I know you're making a reasonable offer to waive the preliminary hearing, but please, this may be the best 20 minutes we spend so that my client can hear the evidence against him. Sometimes it means more when they actually hear it. So what does that mean in the big picture? My guess is these motions will be denied for the defense. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm a criminal defense attorney, man. I would love for the defense to win a couple of these. It would be great. I just don't see it coming based upon everything that I've read and what I saw in those hearings. All right? So what does that really mean? The defense is going to get serious about a plea deal. I have no inside information. I'm just telling you, at this point in time, if I was the defense attorney, based upon what I know, and I don't know everything, let's be clear about that. But at this point, they're going to have to go and say, hey, listen, if he pleads guilty to life without parole on all four of these charges, would you drop the death penalty? Mark my words, those conversations are going to be taking place very soon if they haven't taken place already. Next, what's wrong with the principal getting all her students liquored up? Is that even a problem anymore? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. We know we have the dumb criminal of the day. We may have to start the dumb teacher of the day. We get so many teachers in trouble. I don't know what the heck is going on. Anyway, here we have a principal in Florida of an elementary school was arrested after more than 100 underage kids were found drinking and partying at her house. Please meet Elizabeth Hill Brodigan, who is perhaps one of the dumbest principals in the United States, not just Florida. She was the principal of a school called the Roosevelt Elementary School, and she was arrested along with another teacher after they hosted a house party for your students. Needless to say, the two face charges of neglect and contributing to delinquency of a minor. Where I am at, contributing to delinquency of a minor is a felony. I think they take away your teacher's license if you have a felony for contributing to delinquency of a minor. You should probably have your teaching credentials and your principal credentials revoked for just being a complete moron. Now, we will give her the presumption of innocence, right? Because she's entitled to that. Doesn't mean I can't think she's stupid, but we'll give her the presumption of innocence. Anyway, apparently 100 kids were at the home in matching T-shirts, and many were consuming alcohol, which was available in coolers at the home. One of the kids was found on the front lawn experiencing an alcohol-related event. I wonder what that could have been. Anyway, the Cocoa Beach Police Department was called, and guess what? So was the fire department. Now, during this time, the homeowner was seen by officers in the driveway of her residence turning off the outside lights and entering her residence, causing the Boca Raton Fire Department to use auxiliary lighting so they could make sure they treated the young youth of America appropriately. Anyway, another intoxicated juvenile was arrested near the residence during a traffic stop, resulting in that juvenile getting a DUI. It was revealed to police that the Roosevelt Elementary teacher was also at the party and intoxicated. Anyway, Miss Hill Brodigan posted a $3,500 bond, and Anderson was released on a $3,000 bond. No court dates have been scheduled yet, but guess what? There's going to be some felony charges coming down the way for sure. Anyway, according to the school, Miss Hill Brodigan became the principal back in May of 2024. And now she can say that she's no longer the principal as of January 27th, 2025. It was a short run. Anyway, apparently the over-the-moon excitement as being a parent and a teacher for the last 23 years somehow clouded her judgment. But I guess we'll figure out how that's going to work out for her. Have a story of a bad cop. Made a big mistake. A Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office deputy had to bond out of jail after he was arrested for allegedly possessing, selling, and trafficking drugs. Not good. Anyway, the former deputy, Francisco Melo, was photographed as he left jail Friday night When asked, why did you sell those drugs? Needless to say, he didn't answer. Got some good legal advice. Keep your mouth shut. Anyway, he appeared early in the day for court where a bond was set. And apparently he was arrested for trafficking in ecstasy or MDMA. And according to the arrest warrant, the former deputy was dealing MDMA commonly. And the officials say that he used a confidential informant to go undercover and successfully purchase pills from Deputy Mello. Anyway, the informant learned that Mello was set to go on a cruise that was going to host electronic dance festival music. Oomps, 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 right? That kind of music. And he was trying to smuggle them onto the boat. Needless to say, he was arrested at the port. Didn't get to board the ship. They searched his bag, and according to the arrest affidavit, found some 60 pills that matched the ones the informant said that he had bought from him back in December. So 60 pills weighing 35 grams. Wow, ruining your career and your livelihood, your reputation to go to jail over 60 pills, all for a little dance, techno, ecstasy fun. Well, I guess those 3 years at the sheriff's department have all been wasted. Next, don't threaten the president, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, don't threaten him. Otherwise, it's going to be like this Florida man who allegedly made a threat about President Donald Trump on his Facebook page. And guess what? The FBI was alerted. And guess who went and visited him? That's right, the FBI. And who did they go visit? This guy, Shannon Atkins of Okeechobee. He is now facing a charge of written threats to kill. Now, the FBI, like I said, was alerted by the West Palm Beach Police Department about a tip received about a man making threats on Facebook against President Trump. Anyway, the police released a sampling of Mr. Atkins' alleged comments. One, it was a meme. Abraham Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, JFK, and Trump, plus Martin Luther King Jr. That said, they all stood up to Democrats. All were shot. Mr. Atkins, poor choice of words, even if it's in a meme. General rule of thumb, ladies and gentlemen, let's not joke about anybody being killed, dead. Shouldn't do that. Anyway, Mr. Atkins went on and said, hey, I've been banned from X because I said I hope and I pray that somebody does harm to him, and history will repeat itself. We haven't had a good assassination in years, is what Mr. Atkins said. Well, like I said, things didn't turn out so well for Mr. Atkins. The police arrested him the other night while he was driving his BMW around town, and oops, guess what they found on him, Mr. Atkins? Cocaine, allegedly, of course. Anyway, he did admit to making the post when questioned by the FBI, but he said it was just a joke. Needless to say, the FBI didn't consider it a joke. Don't threaten people, ladies and gentlemen. That's a true threat. Next, this day in legal history. On January 27th, 1825, the United States Congress approves the Indian Territory. That's right, the U.S. Congress approved the creation of the Indian Territory, now known as Oklahoma, facilitating the forced relocation of Eastern Native American tribes. Obviously, this decision led to the infamous Trail of Tears, where thousands of Native Americans were forcefully moved from their ancestral lands, resulting in significant loss of life and highlighting issues of indigenous rights and federal authority. I understand it was a different time, ladies and gentlemen. It was a different time. We can't judge our past based upon modern day standards. Otherwise, nobody would pass muster. Let's just get real on that. Every country has committed crimes that they all are not proud of. Next, 1967, launch of the National Crime Information Center, now known as the NCIC. And the FBI launched that computerized index of criminal justice information and obviously provide real-time access to data regarding crimes and criminals. On this day in 1988, the Senate Judiciary Committee approves Anthony Kennedy's nomination. That's right. He was up to be an associate justice in the United States Supreme Court. And on January 27, 1967, representatives of over 60 nations signs the Outer Space Treaty, banning the orbiting of nuclear weapons. Who thought you needed to do that? But you did. In 1967, they were thinking about it. Now it's just a little more reality. And finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Please meet Kathleen and Maureen Deegan. These two siblings were arrested for allegedly assaulting each other at a Catholic church where they were having a funeral for their now deceased 95-year-old father. Anyway, apparently the kids got in a fight, the police say, and it was prompted by the eulogy delivered by Kathleen for her father, a former doctor and management consultant who was in retirement, apparently, and in his retirement wrote several Bible study books. But the affidavits don't indicate whether the melee at the St. Brendan's Catholic Church occurred inside the Clearwater Beach Chapel or at the reception following the church. A little unclear. Anyway, Kathleen's eulogy apparently did not include a mention of the sisters Maureen's 24-year-old daughter, which upset the younger woman and triggered a verbal argument between Kathleen and her niece. Police charged that Maureen walked over to Kathleen and purposely chest bumped her. Kathleen then grabbed her sister's hair and pulled her backwards. Maureen then responded, according to police, by throwing strikes at Kathleen's face, though it's unclear if she used an open hand or a closed fist. Anyway, guess what? Like all things in life, it was captured on video. Anyway, the little assault resulted in Kathleen's arrest for misdemeanor battery. Maureen was charged with felony battery since her alleged victim was over 65 years of age. They were both held overnight in the county jail and released from custody on their own personal recognizance bond. The judge ordered the two of them not to have any contact with each other. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. And anyway, these two sisters, really? Over the eulogy? Come on. Sometimes when you're in front of people, you meant to say something and maybe you forgot about it. I'm not sure it was intentional, but to go fighting at the funeral of your 95-year-old father, I mean, that's just dumb. And it's inconsiderate. It's impolite. You're our dumb criminal of the day. You two sisters, stop it. If your father was here, he'd pull this car over right now and take care of this. All right. That's all we have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Crime Talk. And remember, the Constitution matters.